Good morning. This book is called Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. Let's see. So the main character is called Kokoro. She is in her first year of junior high in Japan, and she is not doing very well. Like, she's one of a number of students who have dropped out of school. Like, they're still technically students, but they no longer actually go into class. And in her case, it's because she's suffering from some pretty serious bullying from her classmates, like to the point where the idea of going into school and actually having to interact with any of these people gives her really severe stomach aches. And, there are a lot of things she's afraid of happening and so on that she just doesn't really want to share with her parents. But the end result is that she is now spending all of her days in her own room and pretty much afraid even to step out of her own front door. But one day, like when she wakes up in her room, she discovers that her mirror is glowing and she's able to pass through it into this strange castle where she meets 6 other students who, like her, don't seem to be in class, like for one reason or another. While they're in this castle, they're told by this little girl wearing a wolf mask that if they are able to find a key and a particular hidden room, like they'll be able to make one wish, like any wish they want, and it will come true. So the story, well, the magic part is actually very subtle, so it primarily focuses on all of these students and the different issues with school and other classmates and so on that they are dealing with. Like, as they make visits to this castle, like they have a deadline of about 1 year in which they can search for this key and room, but that's really a background event because over the course of this year, like they start to open up to one another, like start to refine their way, I guess, into how to reach out and how to form friendships and begin to try to overcome, I guess, the challenges that have prevented them from being normal students. And so, let's see. I actually saw the movie version of this book before I saw realized that it was a novel. And it's kind of interesting because it's one of those where I think the movie adaptation and the book are actually strikingly similar. Like, I don't think there's any embellishments, I guess. Like, I found the book easier to follow, but like as far as the storyline goes, I think it was quite the same. Oh yeah, I forgot one more thing. So they were also told by the girl in the mask that if they don't, like, they have to leave the castle before 5 o'clock every day. Like, if they don't, a wolf will eat them and they'll all die, and they will all basically be held collectively responsible for this transgression if someone is to commit it, I guess. So Elena asked me if the book version was creepy because the whole thing with the wolf that will eat them in the movie definitely had some creepier kind of graphics and stuff. But I think the book was much more, like I said, quiet. Like, it was definitely not creepy at all. Like, there's a big kind of referencing to various fairy tales and so on. But again, like, it kind of is a background thing since the real focus is a lot on like Kokoro's internal musings, I suppose, like thoughts about school and her classmates and, just trying to get over a lot of the issues that children her age have to deal with. And the mystery of like what the castle is, why it exists, and why these particular people were brought to it is also kind of an ongoing thing, like in the background. So I actually did quite like this story. Like, it fit my mood. Like, I'm not really that interested in characters of this particular age group, so it's not a type of story that I think I necessarily would have read if I hadn't already seen the movie, and especially with that whole like mirror other world element, which is typically the part that like really interests me. But I think as far as children dealing with bullying and stuff goes, like, I think the story did a good job. Like, it didn't feel overly stereotypical, I suppose. Like, I think a lot of times, like, that whole aspect of bullying and so on can get seriously over dramatized or like often gets depicted in like a very similar way. Like whereas I feel like this one really got into a lot of the variations of like how situations can change from student to student and like how perspectives, I guess, can alter like the kind of challenges that people are dealing with. Something I did not like. I did find it a little slow because of, again, that focus on the everyday life of a junior high student. Like it took a long time even to get to any of the somewhat more supernatural elements, which is fine. It's just like I said, I think depending on my mood, it could be a little bit more slow paced. And I do kind of wonder, like I don't know if I hadn't already seen the movie and known what to expect, like I might have found the just how mild the supernatural elements were may have decreased the general draw factor that they otherwise would have provided. But like, again, it's a little hard to judge since I did already have like certain expectations of what was going to happen.